Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 21 of But Did You Die with the Jet Sisters? That's Angie. I'm Rachel. Show everybody your wound from Figchella.
Listen, you guys, I got stung by either a bee or a wasp. I don't know. I was basically fully up in my tree. Like I was in the tree. I was surrounded by fig leaves and fig fruits. And all of a sudden it was like wham. And I saw out of the corner of my eye something fly away, but oh my goodness. I was making quite the scene in the front yard. And then I threw up later. I'm not allergic to bees or wasps, but maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, the point is being a fig farmer is a lot harder than you think it is, Rachel. So anyway, Figchella is still on.
You still don't care about figs.
You're so dumb.
Going outside, you get stung by things. So I don't know. I wouldn't put that on the poor figs.
No, it's definitely not the fig's fault because do you remember right about this time last year, I was having bad bee encounters like all the time. I got stung 3 or 4 times in a week, like in the face every time I was outside, and not just in one place, like multiple locations, and bees would come out of nowhere and just sting me in the face. So I don't know, man.
I do remember that. Yes, and then I think there's a video like on your Ring camera of you getting stung by bees. And I showed Ben. Yeah, I showed Ben, and he was like, "Well, yeah, obviously she's gonna get stung by bees because she's just screaming." And I think you were just like, "Oh, that was funny."
Well, that bee dive bombed me. It just came for me. I didn't do anything to the bee. I was walking around anyway. Needless to say, Figchella is still on. It's happening probably this week. I don't know. As I told my Figchella attendees, it depends on the crop. So they have to be ready at a moment's notice to show up for this 6 to 7 course fig-based dinner party. So you'll be seeing it on the internet, I'm sure, when it goes viral and you aren't there. I wanted to ask you if you have seen the Andrew McCarthy documentary yet. It's called Brats and it's on Hulu.
Who is Andrew McCarthy?
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought I would get out of you because you aren't even from the 80s. I was still a baby when the Brat Pack was happening, so I didn't really know what was up in real time. Do you know what the Brat Pack is?
Yeah, like the Bratz dolls.
This is what I expected out of you. No.
I'm medium messing with you.
Medium, but not really. I think anybody your age, like the young millennials, are like, what's a Brat Pack? So anyway, documentary on Hulu. It's about the Brat Pack, which was a designation given to this group of famous young actors that were like coming into their own in the early to mid 80s. And this journalist called them all the Brat Pack, and the name stuck. And so this documentary is Andrew McCarthy, who was one of the Brat Pack, kind of going around and talking to all these actors who were in that and like what being called that meant to their lives and to their careers. So it's kind of interesting. Have you ever seen any of like the Brat Pack movies, like 16 Candles or The Breakfast Club? Or have you not seen any of these movies at all?
I have seen The Breakfast Club.
But it was a little bit negative. Like, look, they're spoiled, they're bratty, they're famous, they're rich. And they kind of put this on this whole group of youths who were becoming successful. And so it's sort of about how they fought that. It either affected them negatively or positively. Like Demi Moore was in it, Robert Downey Jr., people that you would still know today, but maybe not realize that they kind of all got their start at the same time doing movies together. It was very interesting. But the reason I even bring it up is because the guy who made the documentary is Andrew McCarthy. So OG member of the Brat Pack. And I just interviewed him for an episode of Traveling with AAA, which is my other much more successful podcast. And he is a travel writer as well now. So I interviewed him about walking the Camino de Santiago, which you would be super interested in as a person who weirdly like walks long distances for fun. This could be a great episode for you to tune into. And Andrew loved the Camino. He's done it twice. It's 100 miles. No, it's 500 miles across Spain. So way more than you ever did.
That sounds cool. Hey, speaking of walking 100 miles, there's a couple who watched our videos reached out to us a couple months ago saying they booked the trip. They're from Hawaii, and they invited me and Ben to stay at their Airbnb anytime. But they are currently walking the Cotswold Way. I think they're on day 6 right now, and they're posting on Instagram. And it's like the same exact itinerary we did. They're staying at the same places. They're eating at the same restaurants. They're having the same pains on the same days that I did. So it's fun to watch them do it, especially because they booked it because of us. That's weird. But I think they're doing better than I did. And they're older than Ben and I. So that's embarrassing for me, but that's cool.
So what does it feel like to be a travel influencer? Because I really aspire to that in the future.
It's not something you plan for, people just love you, and it's great.
It's wild because all you did was walk a long way and you're famous. Like famous. Everywhere we go, everywhere you go, somebody's like, hey, you're the girl from the Cotswolds. I'm like, are y'all kidding me? Do you know how many hard things I did in my life? And everyone's like, I don't recognize you. Who are you? Do you work here?
What hard things have you done?
I traveled around the world alone, by the way.
That's not hard. That's not hard.
Okay. You do it. Nah, you gotta
too easy for me.
You gotta have been there.
That's too easy for me. I prefer walking hills.
I feel a challenge coming on. I feel around the world in a hot air balloon race kind of thing coming on with songs and maybe like an element of jewel heist. Yeah, I'm talking about the Chipmunk Adventure.
Okay. Wait, to be honest, I haven't watched that movie in probably 20 years. There's a jewel heist in it?
That's what the whole thing is about. It's like jewel smuggling. They're dropping off the jewels and they're dropping off the money in different places. Yeah, Klaus and Claudia convince the kids to go on a race, but really they're doing like smuggling.
It's all connecting for me. It's all connecting for me as an adult.
Oh, that's such a good movie. Yep. That literally like set the tone for my whole life with world travel. Truly, except the smuggling. I've never been like a jewel thief or like a money launderer, but the travel and singing, yes. Do you think those chipmunks all had passports just at the drop of a hat, or were they just avoiding border crossings because they were traveling via hot air balloon? I don't know. Also, people probably don't make chipmunks use passports. I don't know. They could talk, so it's all very confusing. Anyway, passport renewal now available online. That's big news in the travel world, because I don't know if you've ever tried to renew your passport, but it is the most painful administrative process you can go through. You have to send off your current one and hope that it doesn't get lost in the mail, get stolen, whatever, or that you don't have to travel last minute while you don't have your passport. The actual logistical planning of that, if you're a frequent traveler, like when are you going to have 8 to 12 weeks to just hope for the best, So then you have to pay to get it expedited. All that is still real, but they're making it where you can do it online now. They're rolling it out. So that's nice.
Well, a fun thing to remember or learn for travelers is you can't actually travel 6 months before your passport expires, which
so stupid.
Really doesn't make sense. Just make it expire. Like
it either expires when it expires or it doesn't. Like why? I hate that rule so much.
It's a bad rule, and I feel like everyone learns about that the hard way when you go to get on a plane, and it's like, actually you can't, even though you're going on a trip for 2 weeks, your passport expires in 6 months, so you can't do anything you want to do. If you didn't learn that the hard way, hopefully you've learned something today, which is check your passport right now. Look at when it expires and just plan for that. But that's cool. Yeah, online. I love it. I hate doing forms and mailing
the
things.
Fun thing is, Ben does it all. That must be nice. Of course, the fun thing about this is that it's not for everybody. So the news comes out like, oh, you can renew your passport online. And you're like, yeah. And then you go to do it and it ain't you. So to renew online, you have to meet very specific qualifications, including being at least 25 with a passport issued between 2009 and 2015. So there's already some specifics. And then it also must be set to expire within a year to be able to renew it online, which makes sense because why would you renew it like 7 years in advance? You can't do that. Depending on the country you're going to, and you really don't want to risk it. Like you said, 6 months. Some countries are really weird about it, some aren't, and nobody tells you until you're like ready to board the plane and they're like, "Oh no, not you. Your passport doesn't expire for 6 months, but you can't go on the trip you paid for." That's not ideal. I wonder how many people that happens to every day. It's got to be a pretty solidly large number.
Absolutely. I was just watching a TikTok about a girl who her passport expired in 6 months, but her partners didn't, and they just didn't go on their trip. I would be so sad. I would be so mad. But now, hey, we've all learned something today. Hey, speaking of traveling and passports, we have a big American holiday coming up, which you don't need a passport for. But let's talk about the 4th of July and where you're going.
Hold on. There's something happening to me. Oh, yeah, it's 1776. Sorry. It just, when I think about American history, I think about Hamilton, and that's what I did last year for 4th of July. I made everybody who came over watch Hamilton all day on a loop.
That's great. That's a good tradition. Unpopular opinion that I have. I hate fireworks. I don't think fireworks should exist. They make your dog scared. And is it worth it? No. You're taking money and you're exploding it.
Yeah.
I have
a similar feeling about fireworks. But I'm okay with once or twice a year. Like 4th of July, New Year's Eve, I'm okay with corporate displays of fireworks. Like, I'm okay with that. Patriotism, like celebrating, yes. Regular people having fireworks, that's a no. Have you met regular people in America? They should not have access to explosives. Like, all you can buy explosives.
And somehow they're always your next door neighbors.
How did you know who I was talking about? Yes,
that's just how it works.
Well, and they also don't light them off 2 days a year. They light them off 10 days on either side of those 2 days. Like, you start in my neighborhood, we start celebrating 4th of July on like the 4th of June because people got their fireworks and my dogs hate them. And guess who else hates them? Like, people who fought in wars, people with PTSD. Like, what a jerk to be just like launching explosives on an unexpected day. That's so mean to do to like veterans and people with dogs. I just want to go outside and punch everybody in my neighborhood because it's all of them. It makes me rage.
Okay, so you're of the mindset of 2 days a year, 4th of July and New Year's. And I'm just like, never. We should just never. And if you think fireworks are okay, it's because you don't own a dog and you don't have to hold them while they're shaking. It's just not worth it. But anyway, let's talk about some of the fun places you can see fireworks this 4th of July.
If you must. Hey, well, what do you think about Disney's fireworks? Because that's a huge part of our childhood. Is that different?
No, I want no fireworks.
Even at the Magic Kingdom, Rachel.
Yeah, do something else.
Like what?
I don't know. Like a parade.
Ribbon dancing? Come
Ribbons,
on.
Great.
Ribbons.
Fireworks are not an integral part of my life. We can live without them. So back to where you can see fireworks.
Location.
A big place that does a big one, Boston, obviously.
Yes.
Come on.
Philly, Boston, New York, right? And DC. Those, like, go see 4th of July fireworks there for sure. Because that's got to be a tearjerker. Wouldn't you cry? Would you cry? I would cry.
I probably would. So I was doing some research. Boston is a big one. It's called the Boston Pops Concert Fireworks Spectacular.
Oh my God.
They play the 1812 Overture, and they have about 500,000 visitors that go to the Charles River for the 4th of July celebration. I think that would be cool.
I would lose it.
I would leave my dogs at home, of course. Philly's another big one. They have an 8-day celebration, outdoor films, all you can eat ice cream, like free museum entry. That's cool. See, that's what we need to be doing, not fireworks.
But then it ends with fireworks. Like, yeah.
Not for me. Music, all the things. That's cool. DC, of course, will do something big at the Capitol. It's called the Smithsonian Folklife Festival, which is kind of hard to say.
Smithsonian Folklife Festival. Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. Oh, but they have fireworks that launch from the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, illuminating the sky behind the Washington Monument. America.
Okay. That's cool.
That's cool. You can't help but cry. For me, the fireworks are like the ultimate turn the waterworks on moment. I just get really swept up. It's nostalgic. I don't know. It sweeps me up.
It makes me cry too, but because my dogs are upset. So
your dogs need Xanax.
So yeah, obviously all of the big cities in America are doing something, and your neighbors are also in the street doing something until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Did you know that the 4th of July is the number one day where dogs like run away from home and get lost?
Yeah. I feel like our grandma, the dog rescuer, shares that stat about 48 times every 4th of July time. So yeah, it's really sad because dogs just get skittish and they go running out the door, and then what? Then your dog's lost.
I'm sad. We have to talk about something else. So you could go to any of these big cities and watch really great fireworks, but let's talk about where we go for 4th of July. When we were young, we would drive to Wisconsin from Florida and do. That was a long drive. That was when Mom was scared to fly. So we wouldn't fly. We would have to drive. It takes 2 days.
With 500 people in one tiny car, the dogs, just everything.
That was fun. I kind of remember that. I was very young, so.
Yeah. It was very
I don't know if I remember the experience or if I remember the pictures I've seen.
Yeah, I get that. The last time I remember going up there for 4th of July. So we should say our great grandma had a house on Lake Michigan, like corner lot on Lake Michigan. 2 blocks from that is this amazing 4th of July parade, and so small town and cute. So we would go up there as kids, as much as we could get away. But everybody would sit on Graham's lawn, which is such nice grass. Do you remember Graham's grass? Actually soft. And you could just watch the fireworks from Graham's house. And that was lovely. That was a really nice experience back in the day. And then if we weren't at the lake, if we weren't at Graham's on Lake Michigan, a lot of times we went to our lake house, which let me stop and explain what our lake house is. Don't get in your mind that it's like the 17-bedroom cabin overlooking this ain't Lake Tahoe. This is it's small. I think we should call it like the Lake Shack.
The Lake Shack is more appropriate.
Right?
Shack. On a very small lake, and the water used to be very low in the lake, and so the dock would jet out, but it was all sand. So you would walk on the dock
to pass the end of the dock. It was just sand.
Yeah. And so we would build sand castles and then put fireworks in the sand castles and they would explode. Yeah. That was fun. I liked that.
That was actually, I enjoyed that. And I will say that's probably an exception for regular Joes having access to fireworks, because that is a great fireworks display on this little lake. Everybody who has a house on the lake goes crazy. I don't know how much money they spend on fireworks, but we are the beneficiaries, and we just go sit on the dock or sit in a raft or sit in a boat, whatever, and watch so many fireworks going off. And then you can just hear everybody like hooting and hollering all around the lake. It's a very small town and cute. I like that. The dogs also hate that.
Yes, they do. And we stopped doing that for years. And was that because somebody was living in the lake?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we stopped doing that forever and ever and ever. And then I started going to Ben's family's 4th of July tradition, which is in Tennessee. His grandparents live in, I want to call it Pikeville. It's where Fall Creek Falls State Park is. And so every year, the whole family comes up and they stay there, and we do fireworks. They live on a pond, so not like the
You
lake
really
where
need a
it's
body
all
of
happening.
water. You need a body of
Yeah.
water in order to have a small town, nostalgic family 4th of July experience. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a lot of fun because we'll all rent Airbnbs around town and just spend days together and go hiking and go to the waterfall. So we'll be doing that again this year, but we're bringing the dogs this time. So I'm nervous about that because I've never brought Nora there. I've brought Sheba once, but that'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
But now y'all are going back to the lake house, the lake shack.
Yes. Yeah, the Lake Shack is where it's at. It's an Airbnb now most of the time, and Mom always blocks it off, so whoever wants to go out, and by whoever, I mean whoever. A couple of years ago, there were like 40 people out there. Man, it is a 2-bedroom, tiny, itty-bitty shack. And I think, like I said, I think people are like, "Ooh, lake house, cool. Everybody's gonna have a bedroom." Like, no, everybody's gonna sleep on the ground.
So yeah, those are our traditions. What are yours? I know half of you listening to this podcast are Ben's family, so I know what yours are, and I will see you in Tennessee. And the other half is
our family, probably. So I'll see you guys at the Lake Shack. Anyway, if you're not related to us, what do you do for 4th of July? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know.
And I also want to know what you feel about fireworks. Do you feel the same? Like, are you for them? Are you not for them? It's okay. Everyone can have an opinion.
Not everybody
I'll
can be
just tell
right.
you you're wrong.
Exactly.
Well, it wouldn't be, but did you die without a disaster? And aside from like blowing off your hands because it's 4th of July and that's definitely going to happen no matter what. We do have one story from one past 4th of July that involves our brother, of course.
And surprisingly, this time it's not explosives. You never know with him what the disaster is going to be. But it must have been a couple 4th of Julys ago, and he brought a boat, and he had a friend driving the boat. Like, he dropped the friend off at the, how do I say this in a fast way?
Long story short, the motor fell off of the boat.
Yeah. Long story short, the motor was not attached appropriately to the back of the boat. It fell off the boat while the boat was moving and sank to the bottom of the lake. And that was really bad. I mean, it was several $1,000s. And so what do you think we did? For the rest of the trip, we got the whole group and went out to about where we estimated it fell off. And we all swam to the bottom of the dark lake and sunk to the bottom, like in a big long line. And all of us sinking to the bottom, I don't know, 12, 15 feet down, feeling around in the muck with our feet and our hands. Can't see anything, trying to find this motor, because we could pull it up and it would probably be fine. It's fresh water. It would be fine if we could find it. And we never found it. So
I just realized we might be redneck.
Every so often, Rick's like, "You guys know that you're rednecks, right?" And I'm like, "No." Yeah.
It was fun because we just got to swim, and I love swimming and I love treading water. So we were just out there for hours just swimming and like looking for treasure basically. Meanwhile, Ben's out there with us drowning because he's not a very good swimmer. And we're just out there having the best time.
Well, the three of us, our little sibling trio, we can tread water forever. Truly, that is our like familial gift. We can tread water for a good long time. Even it did wear me out. And I think there was also this extra stress and adrenaline. It wasn't my engine. It meant nothing to me. And I was so stressed out about wasting money and having to replace it. And I didn't even have to replace it. It just gave me a lot of anxiety. And so I was very stressed out. And by the end of the day, I was like fully freaking out for no reason. I like couldn't sleep. It was a whole thing. And the person who had to replace the motor, nonplussed. Yeah, that was a rough adventure. And yeah, never found the motor And every so often, we laugh about it now, but then it was pretty stressful. Whoa.
Anyway, travel tip. 4th of July, not a bad time to drug your dogs. Give them some anxiety medication. That's helpful.
Yeah. All you have to do is call your vet and tell them your dog freaks out with noises, and they're usually pretty good about getting you a prescription. We've had to do that with our 5, and they're all just on the couch looking so, I don't even know, stoned on another planet, and they're all just chilling all together on one couch. It's so cute. Probably a good time to take group photos too. Put them in costumes or whatever, but
that's no.
A Christmas card.
Don't torture them even more.
Amazing.
I know what we're doing this week because I'm driving up to I guess we're both driving to our parents' house and we're gonna have a dinner. So I'll see you on the weekend.
Yeah, so we're going to visit our parents. You're going to Tennessee for 4th of July. Figchella is this week. So I'm in the weeds, chef. I'm the chef and the other guy. I'm all the guys. So this is my first time cooking a multi-course specialized dinner party. I hope it's good. I hope my guests aren't man, you're the worst. Because it will be the first and only Figchella. But we'll see.
Well, you're not inviting Gordon Ramsay to your house, so I think it'll be fine.
Have you met Evan? Evan has discerning taste buds.
I can't say the things about Evan on this podcast that won't get flagged.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
Evan.
That's going to be fun. I'm very excited about it. And then, I don't know. I'd say I'd take some days off because it's a holiday, but I probably won't. I've got a speaking engagement in Puerto Rico the next week, so I have to make sure that stuff is all buttoned up and books to sign, and yeah, it's probably going to be a busy 4th of July around here.
Well, we are definitely driving up for the 4th for a couple days. We usually camp in the Smokies, but because we'll have both dogs, we're not going to do that this time. And then when we get back, we are packing up the house and then moving to our real house.
Your new house. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And hopefully. Terrifying a little bit.
Yeah. As long as everything goes well, which it should. It's just such a long close. It feels like anything could happen.
Well, that's always true. That's what my realtor always told me. She's like, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, up to closing day, things could change. So
here's the very scary part. Our lease is up. So if anything goes wrong, we are screwed.
Day, you have 4 days. Yeah. Well, you're fine. You've got places to go. You get a storage unit. You go stay.
I am stressed.
There's options.
Well, I'm as stressed as I'm stressed.
You're not stressed at all.
Yeah. So if that happens, okay, we'll just figure it out. That's how stressed
about it right now, and you'll never think about it again. So
true. I love being me. I don't have that part of the brain.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Brittany and I were talking about you and Rick yesterday and how nice it must be to just be a 9 and just be cool, man. Whatever happens, man. I'm like, what? I think this is how I ended up with a 9 because you're my bestie and I'm so used to your vibes. Rick's vibes were just a chill continuation of that. Meanwhile, my vibes are always off. My vibes are always too high.
You're just an unhealthy 3, and we'll get you there one day.
I'm sometimes a healthy 3. I don't need validation.
I'm throwing a fig-themed dinner party, and I'm very stressed about impressing my friends. Who put that stress on you? Who put that stress on you?
I was thinking about that. I was thinking, why am I stressed out about a thing I invented that no one cares about? No. This is a many-day process with many steps and printing and menus and recipe research and testing and about 17 trips to the grocery store. A lot of Googling, what is this ingredient? I mean, what?
You're crazy. But I love you, and
other people don't.
I'll send you a therapist's phone number.
A 9 would go to a therapist. Stop.
Why would I go to a therapist? I'm fine.
There we go. Trust me, I already have like 5 of them on speed dial.
All right. Unhinged sign-offs. I didn't think of anything.
I didn't either, but let's see what I can do off the top of my head. Thanks for being here, everybody. Don't blow your hand off this 4th of July. Happy birthday, America.
Ooh. This is not, goodbye, everyone. I can't. Yeah, I didn't prepare. I'm sorry. And I won't stress about it.
Hold on. You'll never think about it again. Pick something from Hamilton. Don't throw away your shot, America.
I know.
But also don't shoot your eye out. I mean, come on. What am I? Professional advertiser here?
Can you stop talking so I can think about lyrics?
Sorry, I'm on fire.
I can't, man. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. Again, we love you very much. Literally, because you're our family. So have fun 4th of July. We will see you there. Until next time, don't blow your hand off. Goodbye.